One question I get from my clients who are projectors is to how to discern if an invitation is truly for you. Again, projector's strategy is to be recognized and to be invited. And it's kind of interesting because once people learned in my life that I was a projector and I do best with being invited, it's kind of funny the amount of people who would then just tack on, I invite you or you're invited. Like that was like a magic word that would just like unlock permission for me to like do the thing and for them to really feel like, oh, I'm recognizing her. But and no fault to these people like whatsoever, I can see the correlation between like, oh, she needs to be invited, so let me specifically say. But the thing that comes with invitations is specific recognition. When you are inviting a projector, and if you are a projector being invited, are you specifically being called to share your very um direct pinpointed energy to this collaboration, to this group, to this hangout session, to whatever, like, or are you being invited for the sake of being invited? Do you feel you're being invited just for the sake of being invited? And one way to really discern that is through your authority. Always, everything in human design, you can learn anything you want about human design, but if you're not using your strategy and your authority to make these decisions to find out what is true for you, then it's kind of for naught. It's kind of going nowhere. So for me, as a self-projected projector, as I'm being invited, when I am invited, I first and foremost check in with my chest. The self-projection is your G center to your throat. You feel it in your chest. Do I feel magnetized? Do I feel like my chest is pulling me towards the situation? Yes or no? When I speak, when I repeat the invitation, first and foremost, try. I am also a human. Sometimes I kind of skip this of like, give me a second. Let me sound it out. Let me talk about it. Sometimes I will soundboard onto another person and let them know, I don't need your opinion. I just need you to tell me, what do I sound like? Do I light up? Am I dim? Am I open? Am I shut? Sometimes being a projector doesn't come with the most especially as a self-projected, I have a lot of openness. So sometimes that doesn't come with having a lot of self-awareness. So I will use my self-projected authority to talk it out. How do the words feel in my chest, feel in my throat? What are the quality? Am I loud? Am I soft? Like, figuring out those things to determine, am I really being invited in this moment? Or is this just me wanting to be recognized? Or the other person not even really maybe potentially recognizing, especially if they are not another projector and don't know that like specific recognition, what it feels like. Are those words really resonating? If you're an emotional projector, are you definitely saying, let me sleep on it, give me a minute, let me ride that emotional wave? How does that feel in your body as it bubbles up, as it, whether or not you have a wave, or it feels, more like an escalator potentially, like however that feels inside of you, like how are you letting that bubble up to the surface? What does clarity feel like? What was your initial feeling like in your body or emotion when you got that invitation? Does it line up with what feels true for you and what feels actually in alignment? Or again, does it feel obligatory? Is the person really respecting your need for time to think it over, to ride that wave, to come to the moment of clarity? Is the person even respecting that? That's also another good indicator if this is like a true invitation for you or not, if you're an emotional projector. If you're a splenic projector, it's all about the here and the now. What is your intuition telling you in this moment? What is, that somewhat gut response, and not a gut response in the sacral or but that intuitive gut response, that inner just knowing when you got that invitation. Do you just know that like they really do see you for who you are? And in this moment, does it ring true for you? And knowing if in this moment it does not, the invitation can be reignited again, and maybe in that next moment it will, but trusting how your truth is for you right now and being okay with going with that. If you have an ego authority from your will center, does this invitation align with your own personal interests? Does it come from the heart? Does it feel like it's aligned with your heart? Again, this is another authority that can do some soundboarding. So finding someone, just speaking your truth, speaking your intentions, figuring out your own personal interests, and just seeing how that lands on somebody else and how that rings true for you, knowing, okay, this is the invitation that is correct for me. If you are a soundboard, or sometimes it's called no inner authority, again, much like a self-projected projector, how does this sound? What is the environment? Like, is this invitation aligned with the correct environment that I'm in now? What if I remove myself from this environment and go to another environment? Does the invitation still feel true? Again, speaking so you get mental clarity in what is true for you. So as you soundboard on somebody else, again, you don't need their opinion. You just need them to know how that sounds when you're talking. Again, you don't need that person's opinion. You just need them to let you know, oh, you sound excited. Oh, you don't look that happy. Oh, these words aren't really great quality words that you're using. Like, how does that feel? How does that sound? Like, how are you getting mental clarity as to like whether or not this invitation is true for you and correct for you? Very brief video, probably not sometimes the specific exact, all invitations are going to look different. And again, it always comes back to your strategy and your authority. Are you being specifically recognized? Are you riding your emotional wave? Are you soundboarding it? Are you speaking it out? Is it aligned with your heart, your truth? Things like that. And also knowing that it is okay to say no. Sometimes with projectors, because we want to so badly be recognized, because we so badly want to share our gifts and our talents, we can tend to like plow over our own best self-interest and our own boundaries in order just to be recognized. So if you feel, oh, I might have to put down some boundaries in order to go after this, that's probably a sign also, no, this probably isn't the correct invitation for me. And knowing that you are safe to say no, and it is okay to say no. And actually, the more you say no, the more you protect what, who has access to your energy, to your insight, to your gifts, to your talents. Knowing the more you protect that, the more you open yourself up for opportunities. And don't protect yourself and be a little hermit and don't share, but being out and sharing and just being the embodiment of who you want to be, or surrounding yourself with the correct environment, with what you want to, with the frequency you want to be in, that will continue to bring you invitations, bring you specific recognition, and give you more opportunities to experiment with your own strategy and your own authority and how that feels within your body. Remember, human design is an experiment. I can just give you some jumping off points, some insights, but it's really up to you to experiment and feel what that means for you on the inside. But if you have any questions or you want to talk over your specific strategy, your authority, your human design, how to use it in your life, your business, how to find what is actually a correct invitation for you, you can find my information in the description. I would love to help you out. And I would love to know your ahas, your oh no's. What does an invitation feel like to you? What does recognition feel like to you? What is your authority? I would love to know. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.